For a long time now, I've been wondering about these mysteries in Fallout 4 about the Commonwealth and Nuka World and Far Harbor, especially with Far Harbor and Nuka World because with the new land there's new storylines and that just makes even more mysteries. So I thought I'd make a list of the five biggest mysteries about the Commonwealth, Far Harbor, and Nuka World. Where is the Enclave? For some time, I've been wondering what happened to the Enclave from Fallout, from basically all the other Fallout games. There are remnants of the Enclave, like Exo-1 power armor, and in Far Harbor there was the I don't the High Confessor from the Children of Adam that was part of the Enclave, which you can read in one of the terminal entries. But it's pretty strange how they just disappeared. I know in Fallout 3 they were eradicated by the Brotherhood of Steel, but it seems very strange that an entire organization as powerful as the Enclave would be wiped out in just from the Washington area. It seems like they would have more bases across the Commonwealth, and even maybe in Alaska, which is a common theory. I like to think that they are in Alaska or somewhere else in America in a hidden area, kind of like the uh, Institute, because it would be pretty cool to see them in the next Fallout game. Is there a link between the Institute and the Enclave? Another popular theory that the Institute and the Enclave are connected, because they do share a lot of similar traits, such as the fact that they are very hidden organizations. They are very dependent on their technological skills to survive, and they don't have a lot of ground troops. It's mostly just sneaking around and very secretive. There's another link that I haven't heard about in any other theories, but it's that the Commonwealth Institute of Technology, which is the area that the institute resides in, or did reside in my playthrough, is a Fallout version of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is a government-owned building, and the Enclave was created from the remnants of the the military and the government. So I think that's a very strong suit. But since they could have been less connected recently, because in Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, there is a point where the Enclave's communications get jammed and they are left like basically just with the vertebrates they have to communicate and send messages. What's the link between the Enclave and Nuka World? Nuka World is the Nuka World theme park that was taken over by raiders after being owned by a big group of settlers, which all resided in their own parts of the park. Uh, the question is why, or what's the link between the Enclave? I think the Enclave might have owned the park, or at least used the park as sort of a base, because it is a very fortified area, which is why all these groups wanted it. But also because if you finish the Nuka World DLC and you listen to some of the holotapes, it was a military-operated area by the time that the war hit. The chemists were being used from Nuka-Cola to weaponry to help defend the United States against the warfare that they were about to enter. And it seems like that could easily become the Enclave, since it was the military part of what turned out to be the Enclave later. It seems like a really strong match. That and the power armor that's left around. There are so many suits of Exo-1 left around that it easily compares to the amount that you find in the Commonwealth. There's even gunners wearing it, which is the first time I've ever seen anyone else wearing power armor. And then there's the really lore-breaking ones, like there was a military truck bringing in a suit of X-01 that I had seen, and that didn't make any sense because the Enclave used vertebrates to travel because it's a very secretive organization. Then there's also that quantum power armor that's in the display case in the Galactic Zone, which doesn't make any sense at all, because why would the Enclave put power armor in a display case, especially like a legendary suit that gives you double AP? Uh, yeah, so I think that there could be a link there with the military, but then the fact that they just like got up and left, that's a whole nother mystery. What is Adam? Adam is the god that the children of Adam worship. He is, I don't know if he takes a physical form or not, but he definitely caused some mysteries, like with the Far Harbor DLC and Mother, where it's like this girl, the shadow girl, that kind of like leads you through to the idol that you need to get into the children of Adam in Nuka World. And then I see a lot of instances throughout the game, both the vanilla game and Far Harbor, where the children of Adam like summon Adam and he actually does these crazy acts. There's also the fact that they don't take radiation at all. Like it's just they're invincible to it, which is a really big question that I've always had is just like how is this possible? And I've always wondered how it was possible. And then there are some people, especially in the base in Far Harbor, that are not immune, but apparently it's just because they're like new and they haven't been accepted into the ranks, or they're not born with like a gift or something like that. I'm not sure what the explanation was that I got from one of the people in the nucleus in Far Harbor, but it was something like that, and I thought it was pretty interesting just to talk about what the actual like concept of Adam is. What's the deal with the fog in Far Harbor? The fog in Far Harbor is known for being poisonous, radioactive, and most importantly, it drives people insane. This is a strange trait that fog has, especially if you think that only the trappers are the ones that are going insane. The Far Harbor people who have lived on the island for the same amount of time and were exposed to it as much as the trappers were, since they lived in the settlements around the island too. It just doesn't make sense that only the trappers were affected by it. And here's another question. Is there a possibility of the Enclave in Far Harbor? There are a lot of places around Far Harbor that seem like it could be an enclave area, but my main thought was that they were hidden or like underground or something like that, or maybe on one of the surrounding islands. It kind of makes sense because it is an unpopulated area that the Brotherhood of Steel would have never thought to go to. It is like very secluded like that. The fog, which could have been them since it was getting worse recently, it could have been the Enclave that had gotten there, set up a new base, and created the fog to kind of draw away the Far Harbormen and the other people around the island, just to keep their organization secret. It seems like it could be plausible. I'm not exactly sure if this is anything to go on, but that would also explain the fact that there are no suits of power armor, because it seemed like the creators of Fallout, Bethesda, tried to incorporate as much as they could about the Enclave into the new DLCs and the new game, with all the suits of power armor. But the only thing we get from Far Harbor is the High Confessor saying that he used to be part of the Enclave. So I think it does make sense that maybe he is part of it too, and that he came in to infiltrate their base and become their leader so that he could draw the children of Adam away from the suspicion of Far Harbor. And maybe he kind of got tied into it. Maybe that's why he can survive in these conditions. I don't know. But considering all the information, it seems like it could be plausible. There you have it, my list of the 5 biggest questions about the Commonwealth, Far Harbor, and Nuka World. I just wanted to try out a list-based video with my knowledge of the different areas of Fallout. Uh, Let me know what you think, and if you have any answers or other questions that could have been asked in this video. So yeah.